Oh. I'm a voice actor.
Yeah.
You don't have to turn on the mics when you get in there. They do that for you.
Sorry.
We're used to having people do stuff for us. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. How are you?
Great.
Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are great. Thank you for coming. Let's introduce ourselves, shall we? Lindsay, you can go first.
Hi.
Ladies first.
Can you hear me now? I'm Lesley Pedersen. I'm sure all of you know exactly who I am. Let's see. Alfard in Canaan is my big role that I'm here for because Aaron over here wanted me to come and they invited me for some weird reason.
This is your first convention.
Yeah.
I'm amazed.
I'm having the best time ever.
You're like a pro at this.
I'm having so much fun, it's gross. What else? I was in Panty Pony Dash, played Vicky, if anyone knows that one. I loved her so much. Chevalier Dion, is that how I say that? I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. Did I say it right?
Yep.
Okay.
Those damn French.
I know, right?
It's a great show, though.
Is it?
It is a great
Yeah, people love that show, and I played Lorenzia, I know her name. And that was good times.
Good times.
Good times.
Good times.
All of a sudden, I feel like we're on that Saturday Night Live skit.
Right? Which one is that?
Sweaty Balls.
Sweaty balls?
You remember that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just pretend like we're on NPR radio.
Right. We're on NPR. So guys, we're all going to talk about voice acting today. It's going to be a grand old time. We're going to have super fun.
Good, yeah.
Okay. Who out there would like to be a voice actor? Okay, that's nice. All right. So, myself, my name's Chris Rager. I've been voice acting for about 16 years now. I started my very first show was Dragon Ball Z. Not a bad show to get your start on. And then I've been doing it ever since. I've been in just about every anime Funimation has ever made or produced, whether I was Soldier F or actually had a named character or just some, Walla session, which means with all actors. We have background noise and crowd noises and soldiers rushing in and those kinds of things. So in some capacity, I've literally been in every anime Funimation has ever done in some capacity, whether you know it or not. And we're here today to kind of talk a little bit about how all this works, from the audition process and,
That's it, my favorite.
Yes, the audition process, it's fun, it's good. And then, to actually being in the booth, to, even how we get paid and dealing with taxes and some of that boring stuff. You don't want to think about what it does or what it takes to be a voice actor and how little we actually get paid. So, especially for the anime, I tell you, anime, nobody's getting rich voicing anime. So there's that. Sean Schimmel always likes to tell the story. His first year as Goku was the lead character in the #1 cartoon in the world, really. He made $3,000. So think about that. Realize the few, let that soak in. The lead character in Dragon Ball Z, a multi-million-dollar making show, the lead actor got paid $3,000 his first year. That year. In the year. No one is living off that. So, that all being said, let's kind of open it up to you guys and see if y'all have any questions. We'll kind of start off with the audition process and kind of talk about that a little bit. How are some of your auditions? How do those go for you, and what do you like to talk about?
Chris.
Yes.
Auditions I don't love.
You don't love them, really?
No, I don't. I think.
You prefer to just get the part.
Yeah, well, luckily that's happened a few times.
And yes, it does happen
And
sometimes.
that's amazing, because then I can just not worry about it. Because for some reason, audition, and I worked a lot with this guy named Stephen Foster, who has, over the years, become like one of my best friends. So I think it made me even more nervous to audition for him when there was an audition in need, because he's like my friend,
Right.
and I want to do what he wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
what do you want?
I'm thinking about it way too much. The best things happen when you don't think about it at all. And that's a really hard thing to learn and explain, but if you're just go in there and have a good time, you're gonna do well, which I'm not very good at.
No?
Sometimes I am. Sometimes it just depends. It's really strange.
Yeah, you don't know. Sometimes a character fits what you think you got, and sometimes you'll get a part and be like, how the hell did I even get that part? That audition sucked. And then you're like, oh well, they called me anyway.
Yeah.
They must want some suck. The audition process, it is intimidating in many regards, and a lot of that experience comes from just doing it on a regular basis. And a lot of that experience comes from having gone through classes and workshops and meeting people and networking with other actors and directors and things, and just kind of starting to understand your voice in this whole process of wanting to be an actor. It is a labor of love. It is something you need to be passionate about. At least many of my friends that I know, we didn't wake up one day and said we want to be voice actors. I thought I was going to be an artist or a musician, and I chose acting instead. It just sort of was something that, even though I was good at some of these other things, this one really called to me. Being on stage, being in front of people, performing, getting that response from an audience or from fans like you guys is really cool, and that's what I like about it. So a lot of that comes from experience and going through that experience. Anyone have questions about the audition process? Yes, you, sir.
I know that you have to have a really good audition tape that you can get played. I was wondering, after a more seasoned person like you, do you have to update your tape every now and then, 5, 10, 3 years?
It is wise to have a voiceover demo. I don't necessarily think you need one for anime per se, because I don't have one that's specific to anime. I have one on my voiceover demo that has some anime on it, but it's really centralized on commercial and industrial, and then some of the fun stuff, like what I consider like the other. And it's all very short and quick, and really your demo tape is only about a minute and a half long, if that, minute 15 seconds. Because whoever's looking for that is going to hear it quickly, what they want in your voice. Now, these aren't usually submitted to Funimation, and when they are, they're not widely looked at. So the audition process is really starting to get in with people networking with people, getting an agent, having an agent be able to submit you when Funimation or places like that will do an open casting. And then...
Hey, Chris.
Yes?
Can you get me in there on Funimation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Where have you been? Come on down.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
See, it works like that. Because it really is. It is a process of kind of who you know. But you've also got to find a way to get in the door, and by which you have, hopefully by then, before you're trying to knock on Funimation's door or other places to do animation, or in Hollywood or Los Angeles, New York and Chicago and places like that, you've got to hopefully had some seasonedness about you doing other things and understanding what that audition process is, and being able to make clear and deliberate choices that you've come up with. It's good to ask the director what they're looking for, but after you've laid out what you got. They're going to give you some direction, they're going to give you some ideas, but they're going to want to hear what you have first. Then they're going to give you, okay, well, I want you to try it like this, maybe a little angrier, maybe whatever the emotion, or even maybe where the voice lies in your mouth or chest and breath and stuff, and maybe give you some advice there. But it's really about your choices and your ideas, and making them quickly and being confident in those choices. Because believe me, we have a long list of stories of failed auditions at Funimation that
Trust yourself.
that sadly we mock, and you don't want to be one of those. So, yeah.
I can't. What he said, and also just audition if this is something you're into. Audition if like I'm having acting is like this. It comes in major waves. Like you'll have a spell where you don't have an audition for a month and you want to die, and then it's just you have like 10 in a week, and it's annoying. But so when I have those low times, I'll audition for the local play just to practice.
Yes.
Just to keep in practice of that, because it's a weird thing, and every single audition you ever go to is completely different. There's always something new and weird, and it's just the best practice in the whole world because it's scary and it's fun and it's awesome or terrible. But at least you're having all these different experiences.
Especially in anime, because we find a lot of different strange, odd characters in anime. And what happens, especially in anime, that some of these characters come up along the way that they sort of leave to the director's discretion as to who they would like to be these parts. They're not necessarily the main parts. There's some sub-characters or villains that kind of come into to a small story arc. They don't necessarily always audition for those. Sometimes they, the directors there know voice actors well enough that they're going to call you in based on what they know you can do. Like I often get a phone call. I make fun of this because I say I'm typecast, but I don't mind getting paid to be typecast. But if there is a loud, gruff, obnoxious, monstrous type of thing, I get a phone call. And that's fine, but I also wouldn't mind getting a phone call for some of the other stuff, which I have been lately, and that's good. But sometimes you even have to break through in that regard. Like, everyone knows me as the big, loud, gruff, dumb guy, right? Well, I can do cool, slick, sinister, badass guy too, I think, and other things as well. I can be silly and high and, bubbly and all those kinds of things too. But, Mr. Satan screwed me on that one. No. So being able to have some range, even within your own voice, which obviously I'm not going to be going around playing many teenage boys. Regardless of how hard I try, there's going to be guys out there who naturally have that voice, and they're going to get cast more easily than the one where I'm trying to force a teenage voice out of me. Those kinds of things. So, but any other questions? Audition process? Yes, sir.
I guess not.
Well, any question at all?
All right.
All right, time's up. All right, next question. Okay, go ahead.
Would video games be a better outlet as far as for monetary gain?
Yes.
Yes. About 4 times as much.
Yeah, because I saw that you were in the board games.
I was. And you get paid a lot more money for video games. Recently, though, there has been, you might have seen some of this on Twitter, hashtag Voice Actors Matter. And there's a bit of a debate. They did go into the union and put forth a vote so that they could strike if so necessary. But what voice actors are asking for now, and I think we should get this, is a game, a video game specifically, if a video game sells more than 2 million copies, we should get some residuals based on those sales. And since Borderlands sold 28 million copies, I'm wondering where the heck my paycheck is. Because I have not seen it. But it is, at the end of the day, and my friend Anthony Birch, who wrote Borderlands 2, said it the best. He said it, I think, in a Twitter feed based on this thing as it came up, was that we all should be able to benefit from our successes. And if whether I'm the voice actor who worked 10 to 15 hours on the game, or I'm the 3D mapper, or the, I can't imagine all the different technical names there are for people who make video games. But all of those guys too. If you put that work in and you have a success, everyone should benefit. And not just, the guy who owns the place.
Right.
Although that guy's a really cool, neat guy. It's just, spread the wealth a little bit, that's all. In the back, sir, yes. I'll come to you in the yellow, and then we'll come over here.
The main cast is what goes first, right? Okay, so let's say those are all gone. What goes first afterwards?
Sorry, what was that last part?
The main cast is already taken over. What is the first thing to leave? What's the first thing to be taken over when you're voice acting?
Roles.
If the main cast is already taken.
Well, then it's sort of up to these secondary characters that come in and about, and people that they may interact with and only have a few lines and stuff. Sometimes they're even played by some of those main actors. I know that when I go in to do a voiceover session for a show, I get to do the character that I'm playing, and then okay, well, let's throw you in on a couple of these smaller characters as well. So it's a bit of a combined effort between some of the main actors, and they'll bring some other actors in too to fill out maybe parts that have more than a few lines, or maybe they're there for an episode. They help push that story arc along, or something like that. Sometimes you're just Soldier F, and you know your line is "Yeah," and you got shot and you die, and then you do a bunch of those that day. But typically that will take place in what's called a Walla session, which means with all actors, where you're doing all that background noise. You know, you're in a busy mall, or there's a war going on, or a battle going on, or people are rioting, or picketing, or there's this outside noise in a park, or people playing a game, and those kinds of things. They'll bring 4 or 5 actors in to do those noises, and then use those 4 or 5 actors as a bunch of these bit parts, as we call them. Soldier F, Maid D, and guy shot in face G. Kind of thing. So, take care, guys. We'll miss you. I like your outfit. Good cosplay, dude. So, yeah, did that answer your question? Excellent. I'm going to come to the back here, and I'll come back up here to you. Who else in the back had the question? Yes.
Oh, I just heard you say you voice acted Borderlands. I was curious who you played. I'm guessing Marcus, kind of, but we're not sure.
Marcus Munitions? Come on.
I couldn't hear it possibly.
Come on. Try again one more time. I'll give you one more guess.
One more guess?
I'm way more badass than him.
One of the playable characters?
I'm more badass than him.
Just give it to him, man.
I'm Torg.
Work?
Torg.
I don't know.
You haven't played the DLCs.
I don't think I have.
You didn't play the badass creator of Badassitude?
I'm
God.
You didn't play that?
I just bought
Mr. Torg's Campaign of Carnage? That takes place in the badass creator of Badassitude?
I'm still playing. Stay here.
Alright, well you played Borderlands, yes? Okay, you know all the big guys who go around going, I'm gonna kill you, and then you shoot their heads off, and they're like, you better goddamn run! They freak out on you and stuff? I'm those guys too. So yeah, just like in a game like Borderlands, I came in, I'm Mr. Torg, I did all my Torg parts, and they're like, you know what, you're also gonna be these big Goliath head dudes. When you shoot their heads off, they get really, really mad. And they turn into like Super God Goliath, and they kind of help you out, and so. But yeah, so that would be like your secondary part. Something that's going to be away from the voice, the loud, screamy voice that I did for Torg, into the big, dumb sounding voice for the Goliaths. But you need to get to playing that game, son. I'm a little disappointed in you right now. Sorry?
That's the plan when I get home.
Okay, good. All right, good. Well, we're on the right track, and I feel good about it. You feel good about it? All right. Don't let me down, dude. Don't let me down. More questions? Yes, you sir, in the front row, yes. And I'll come back to you in the glasses. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yes.
Two. One, first of all, when you audition for one, do you have like a specific, I want to be that guy, or you just go into try to fit into any that you can?
No, typically you want to pick out, usually it'll come in a book. They'll have the show, description of the show, book, characters, pictures, descriptions of characters, and sides. And then you usually go through and say, okay, well I can't play these women. All right. And this guy looks pretty big, or I can maybe play this older fella. So yeah, so you kind of choose. There'll probably be about 7 or 8 characters to choose from. You want to pick 2 or 3 that you'd like to audition for, and probably expecting to only do 2 when you go into the booth.
Yeah. What is the process for auditioning? Do you audition in the booth?
Yes, we actually go in the booth. At Funimation. Y'all do not?
No, we do.
Okay.
I recently, and I wish I knew the game. It's like a kid's game I auditioned for in Austin, and I went twice. The first time, I came in expecting to go into a booth. I didn't know anything else, and I went to like a conference table, and they just sat there, and there was like 3 dudes just listening to me try some different parts. It was the strangest thing ever.
That is weird.
And
It's not going to sound the same coming out of your mouth than it is into a microphone.
Right? I don't know. And then I came back, and I was surprised that I came back the second time, and they were like, yeah, we brought you back because you got really high marks on that last audition. I was like,
High marks?
I got high marks? Wow, thanks,
That's
guys.
a strange audition process.
And then, and then I did it again. I, never heard from them. But they were looking for a lot of, serious accents, which I don't do.
No?
But hopefully I'll come back.
What kind of serious accents?
I don't know, just weird
Like
European.
Scottish and German?
Just, yeah.
I hate German accents. Russian I could do for a while. German, I cannot maintain a German accent
Yeah.
for the life of me. Or French. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, I mean.
If I can hear it, I can repeat it, but I can't maintain it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm the same way, but I was just like, I tried a couple and whatever, and hopefully I got some high marks. So
You got some high marks the second time.
I just thought it was cool because I never got high marks in school.
I like that.
So
I got an A plus today at my audition.
My second one was, do you have any of the Soldier F type roles in Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
You have about, you are in
I am what is called additional voices in Attack on Titan. I may have received a credit, but that credit would say additional voices, which means he died. Very fast.
He was one that was being swung.
Right. What now?
He was one being swung by his spear.
I don't know, man. All I could think was, here I am one of the biggest, loudest, gruffest voice actors you got, and you can't have me come in and grunt like a Titan once in a while? Like, what the hell? Like, I seriously was like, how come I didn't get a call to be a Titan? Like, they don't say anything. I'm like, I don't care.
It's rougher than you are.
No, he's not. I can take him down. Take 7 down any day of the week. Take him down. Down. All right. Excuse me.
You can do a fair Optimus
Is that deep
Prime.
enough for you? Huh? What now?
You can do a fair Optimus Prime by my reckoning.
Oh, let's see. I actually was practicing Optimus Prime the other day. Here we go. Are you ready? It's like, my name is Optimus Prime. Autobots, roll out. Huh? Not bad. Autobots. That's how you say it. Autobots. 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 It's fun to say.
Getting back to accents.
What else? Let's see. The audition process, you get the part. Yeah, more questions, guys. Let's just get you're on the right vein. You're on the right track. What do we got?
Okay.
Oh wait, guy in the glasses. You have a question you didn't get to ask, or you did ask it?
Actually, is there much a difference between auditioning for or going and dealing with a game as opposed to a series?
There is some difference, and one of the biggest differences is flap matching. You know what flap matching is the lip movements of the characters, right? You don't have that in video games. They do that for you. They match your flaps to the animated character. I'm sure there's some sort of technology that does that I'm unaware
Talk
of.
about flaps.
Yes.
Flaps, not enough flaps.
Yes. There's flaps are, well, they're a bitch.
They are.
And every character, it seems like, has a different wonky flapness to them. Like Mr. Satan in General Hercule, he never ends a sentence with his mouth closed. Like normal people do. Mr. Satan will end a sentence and his mouth is wide open. And you're like, how do we do that? So that's why you might get a lot of, everything's doing fine. I would laugh at the end, I'd give it a little bit, yeah. Because why else would your mouth just be open? No one says, hey, how's it going? You guys want to get something to eat? They don't do that. So a big difference there. The audition process is pretty much the same. When you're auditioning for a game as opposed to an anime, there's always a picture of the character, a description, some lines that you need to read. Recording process is a little quicker too because you're not having to match flaps.
I never have gotten lines ahead of time.
No?
For Sentai.
Oh yeah, no, that's not a thing.
No.
No one gets lines ahead of time.
And that's the other thing. You get in there and you have to read and look at flaps and come up with a great voice all at the same time, and it's a bitch. It's not easy.
So I'd say 80% of the time you're going in to record, you don't know what show it is that
day. I have
day.
no idea, and that's the thing. It's like I go back and I watch Kanan, and I'm like, this show's badass. I wish I knew that was happening before that scene. You know what I mean?
Right, like
I would have done it maybe a little
that's the
differently, maybe
director's
not.
job, and they're all bastard
Well,
people.
no, they tell me what they can, but I would love to see it before.
Yeah, I mean they got to give you some general idea of what has happened as to what is happening. Like I was never told when I played Arlong that he killed Nami's mother in front of her, and I thought somebody should have mentioned that to me. That might have influenced my character choice on this awful shark man. He was a fish man.
Maybe we some sort of, I don't know, hashtag.
Campaign, hashtag campaign,
Hashtag
hashtag directors
show us more.
show me more. I know some directors that you'll end up going into the booth and they'll have their pants off and you'll be like, oh, that's not what I meant, man. Come on. I need more direction. Put your pants on, Mike McFarland. Does that give you a general idea? A little bit, some differences there, and especially in video games too. You're going to have a moment. I do a lot of like on Smite and games like that, where you have these repetitive lines or like reactionary lines, or getting punched or kicked if you're fighting in the game. You have to go through like these 3 different reacts of getting punched in the face and getting punched in the chest, and this is a hard punch and this is a soft punch, and this one you got hit in the face, and this one you're dying and you react. And so you just got to be able to kind of crank those out and give them different variations of each noise that's coming out, and that takes a little bit of practice, and it takes a little bit of confidence too, because it's kind of silly, to go and to do that and to be comfortable that, hey, it's just me in this room and I look ridiculous. And so it really is a comfortableness with your body and what you're going to do with your body, because voice acting isn't standing in front of a microphone with your arms at your side talking. You're acting. And you got to be able to learn to move without knocking the microphone over, or bumping into things, or rattling stuff in your wallet or your pockets or anything too. So, but there is a lot of movement when you're voice acting. At least for myself, I know. Is that not true for you?
Yeah, depending on the scene, of course. But
yes.
It's fun to like do different stuff, be in the middle of like a fight scene or a chase scene, and like, oh, I have to breathe now. How does that sound?
Right. You kind of got a
running, breathing sound, and you have to just go for it. And usually it works out fine if you just go for it.
Sure, and it really is about breath. And breath is so important. It's so important. And understanding your breathing and how much breath you're going to need to get through a line, or breathing and letting the breath build so that you are getting chased all of a sudden, and it's frightening, and you want to hear that in the breath, and the breath is what's going to get you there, because our emotions are in our breath. How we breathe is typically, you can see it's how someone's breathing. You can tell what emotion that they're feeling, and being able to mimic those things or recreate those things is it's vital, I think. Word. In the back again, yes.
I was told by my music teacher when
She's a liar. Or he is a liar. I just assumed it was a she.
I've already said that.
No.
I was in a musical, and she said you have to go on a diet before you get on stage or go in the booth, or you will fail that part. And she has taken me off stage several times because I had some sort of sugary beverage or I had some meat that day. Saying, no, you cannot do this. This is not how you do this. If you want to be in this industry, you cannot at all eat any meat or any sugary beverage whatsoever. Is that true?
Well, maybe not right before you go on stage.
Yeah.
Or right before you're going to perform. I would agree with her. Sugary or milky substances in your throat or body while you're trying to focus and perform and things, it's not going to give you the focus that you need. I would highly suggest water. I wouldn't worry about your red meat intake or anything per se, but just make sure that you're taking care of yourself before you have to go and perform. It is not unlike what an athlete would do before prepping for a game or practice in general. You've got to understand your body and what it can and cannot do. And so she's giving you good advice there. Except for the meat thing, I'm not 100% sold on that. But sugary beverages and those kinds of things are not going to be good for your throat. They're not going to allow you to project. They're going to, in some ways, restrict even cold beverages.
And coffee's not good.
Coffee's not good. Except in the morning. And I don't have to act at 8 a.m. So that's how I feel. Yes?
I actually wanted to ask about, do you have any tips on reading a script like you're not reading a script?
Don't read it. I know, it sounds stupid, but don't. Sight read it. You can read words, right? And read them as they come. Make the choice of the character, find out the character, take a general skim the line. But then let the let your intent as to what you know, what is going on in the scene. The director's probably giving you some notes. Here's what's happening. Here's what's going on. You've heard the Japanese now. You've listened to what the Japanese have done. So that's going to give you an understanding of intonation as far as are they yelling, screaming? Are they talking softly? Are they having to talk across the room per se to someone else? So you kind of get the feeling and idea of what that intonation is going to be, and then just go for it.
So don't worry too much about hitting it word for word.
I would not worry about the words too much. I'd more worry about the timing and the understanding. I mean, the words are important, and especially in anime, you are having to match these flaps. So worry about the words, but I wouldn't say like study the words per se, especially if you want maybe a more natural feeling performance. And to be quite honest, in anime, you're going to get that a lot because there's not a lot of time to do that. You know, you literally 90% of the time I walk in, I don't know what the show is, I don't know what character I'm playing that day, and you know, you've got to make some choices. And you're being called in that process because the director thinks that you can do this. They're not calling you in because they're like, let's see. You know, at some point the director has confidence that you're the one he wants for the part. You just got to work with them to give them what it is they're looking for. But I wouldn't like study the line really hard. I would listen to the director, listen to what's going on in the Japanese, and then make a choice from there. And then just let the line come out. Read the line, you know. Yes?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks, Ken, for unlocking the door for me yesterday.
Oh, no problem. You're very welcome.
Yeah, and, well,
I bet you're like, I didn't even know that was Mr. Satan. No.
Did you rip it off the hinge?
I did not.
But I think I should have asked this earlier. Maybe you guys mentioned this earlier. I kind of forgot.
If we did, I will yell at you. Go ahead.
How did you guys like start like as the voice actor, and like what you have to do to get there, like, and then that's one question. Then the other question is, what are some other good anime studios besides Funimation to check out to audition for? If you can't get into Funimation.
Yeah, there aren't any, I don't think. Okay. Well, I don't think we talked about it maybe in another panel, kind of like our origin stories, how we got into voice acting per se, and
like what's some like good tips for someone who wants to start voice acting?
You know, find out who the people are and try to meet them. That's a good thing. My story is with Sentai, which was ADV at the time. I had lived in LA for a while, and I moved back to Texas, and I knew that ADV was there, and I had always wanted to do it, and I was like, well, I have a little bit of a resume now, like somebody like
go Power Rangers.
What he said, and then from being on Power Rangers for a couple minutes, I really enjoyed doing the ADR work, which is overdubbing my own voice when we were like outside and a plane went over and they needed to fix that. And I thought it was so much fun that I was like, I can do this. So I had a couple of friends that I knew that, you know, I was like, come on, man, you know, get me in there for an audition, and it never happened. And then I ran into Stephen Foster at a bar one night, and he was like, hey, I heard you on the Power Rangers, and I thought my friends were making him say it to me to make fun of me, you know, like, and he was like, no, really, I think it's awesome, and he was like, yeah, I directed ABV, you want to come in? I was like, are you serious, dude? I've been trying. So that's how it happened for me, and I started off with little, like, Walla, all the, you know, and like little tiny weird animals and things like that, and I guess I didn't suck that bad, and I kept getting like more and more roles, and I got some lead roles, and all I can say is, like we said in the other one, is do a little bit of everything and meet people and do theater if you can. It's the best experience ever if you haven't. Just try all kinds of things and you'll just kind of slowly meet people and it'll just happen. If you want that to happen, it will. Don't stop believing.
Indeed. I mean, just to reiterate that, exactly what she's saying. It is about finding some classes. You know, your college theater program. You know, there's maybe some workshops that come through town, or you know, there are people who have some like-mindedness that you can be around, and maybe you start your own comedy troupe. That's me and my friends and I started our own comedy troupe. We learned improv and had taken improv classes and things like that. So any way you can find a way to get out and perform with people who have the same interests as you know, who also want to be actors or voice actors or you know, work in the industry and in whatever capacity. You know, maybe they want to be filmmakers and those kinds of things. Start finding and surrounding yourself with these people and you know, start creating opportunities and finding out what those opportunities are. At the end of the day, if you really have your heart set on dubbing anime, you probably can't live in Minnesota, you know? So, I mean, there might be some choices, but you want to kind of go through a process before you start getting there. So classes, workshops, theater, do it. And have fun. Theater is a blast. It's not as nerdy as a lot of people think it is.
Yes,
Right?
it might be a little
It's a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I can tell you that. So, yeah. Did that answer the question? I got off on track of that.
Yeah, whatever.
Talk about drugs and rock and roll.
Aaron has
That's
a
your life.
question.
More questions?
Yes, sir.
Well, I was wondering, when you guys are, you know, at home, do you guys do any sort of like practicing, like if you're doing a hero or a villain, for example, what do you do? It's like, how would you practice for that role?
You know, Aaron, I've never practiced, but I should. And honestly, Aaron Halverson, ladies and gentlemen. No, he got me invited here, and I went back and watched some of the stuff that I've done, and I'm like, man, I should have been a little more into this than and it just came up like, I wish I knew more about the characters before, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I would usually just go in and do it, you know, and it gets to a point where, awesome, it gets to a point where, like you said, directors bring you in for roles that they know that you can do. So, you know, I knew I was probably going to play either a villain or a like hyper, like, oh my god, chick. Or I don't usually get little kids, sadly. I wish I had that voice. But, you know, you get the parts that are meant for you. And, you know, it took me a while to learn that. But
I imagine they're all vixens.
yeah, some of them
A lot
are.
of vixens.
I love playing those kind of roles and villains. It's the best. But yeah, like I said with auditions, any kind of practice you can do is amazing. You know, just I auditioned for a play down the street from me, knowing that I wouldn't get a role. I just wanted to go do it because I hadn't auditioned for a play for a while.
Right.
Just stuff like that, you know. Just that's the kind of practice I like to do. Just getting thrown into weird situations as much as possible.
Cool.
I will, if I hear a voice that I like, I'll try to mimic it. And then I'll then take it and make it my own. Be like, well, that might be good for like an older gentleman I might play someday or something like that. You know, just to kind of be able to wrap your mouth around it. Because when you change your jaw and you change how you position your mouth, you know, a new voice comes out and cool things can happen, or something really stupid sounding, so change the way you move your mouth. But yeah, I mimic a lot of things, and that's what kind of some advice I like to give people a lot is mimic those characters and shows and cartoons and things and Saturday Night Live and those kinds of, mimic those things that you like, and eventually you'll find that you can take those and make them your own, and into, you know, all kinds of different characters. And improv for me was very huge, and being an improviser and understanding and learning that art form really helps me a lot in making those choices, because the improv is about making choices, committing to those choices, and making positive choices along the way to help drive the scene, to help drive the characters, and just kind of having that understanding helps a lot too. So yeah, mimic stuff, take some improv classes, and you'll be good to go.
I just want to second that before we answer any more questions. Improv is like everything. For
Yeah.
any kind of audition, for any kind of role, even in anime when we got to match flaps, they might just go, just say whatever you want to say right now.
Yeah.
And you have to come up with something awesome. And that happens in auditions all the time. And I love it because I feel more comfortable with that than a script sometimes.
Sure.
Because you can just have a blast. And,
Well, especially if it's a character you already wrapped your head around.
right, yeah.
Because I can definitely say, I've been in the booth and be like, nah, he wouldn't say that. I don't know who the hell this writer is, but my character doesn't say stupid stuff like that. We're changing that line, you know?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, but improv is huge. It's huge, and the more you practice, the better you get, and the more the more confidence you have with that will take you miles and miles in any sort of acting field that you ever
Because if you can find a comfortable place by taking suggestions and using an outline of a scene in order to then create your own lines for that scene and be comfortable and how to move that along, man, you've got a leg up on a lot of people if you can begin to understand how that works and how to make your head wrap around it so that you can do it well. And when you do find that process, and it's a process, man, it's a lot of fun to realize that, hey, I can improvise. That is a blast. It's truly rewarding. In the middle here, and then we'll come at the back and then back to you. Yes.
What's the most ridiculous thing you guys have both mimicked? And also, can you mimic Morgan Freeman?
I probably can. What was the one? I don't know. You got something that you mimic a lot?
I mean, my daughter and I, she's right there, you guys. We like to.
She's being awfully quiet. She
I
was
know.
way sassier
She's
the other
hungry,
day.
so
She needs food. I understand. Have you not eaten lunch?
I had. We went to the mall instead of lunch.
They didn't have food in the mall?
I had a pretzel, but that didn't
Oh,
really do
that's
it.
not much.
What was it? Oh, Saturday Night Live. I'm obsessed with Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
And so anything Kristen Wiig has done, I don't know, we just find ourselves, mimicking.
You and your daughter mimicking it?
Well, one of the both of us is,
Right.
is
Playing off each other on it?
yeah, like the Target lady or whatever.
I love the Target lady.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, Kristen Wiig. I just finished Amy Poehler's book because I'm obsessed with
little
her.
hand for a while.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, yeah. Amy Poehler, all those people are all improv people and they're amazing and they're all it's just an example of improv turning into a mobile. It's just
Right, well, I
really-
mean, yeah, think about like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey and those guys, they all came from the world of improv, but the world of improv is really a world about preparation and writing. And how you write is through that improv. So you experience the character, you create a character, you start putting them in situations, and then through improvising, you then begin writing what it is that you create, what you come up with. And so a lot of the characters you see on Saturday Night Live, and that all comes from an improvised world. They create a character, they put it together in their head, they started putting that character in situations, they improvised those situations, something funny happened, they wrote that shit down, and they put it on TV.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Target lady, I think she's been doing that for years before. I think
Oh,
she
yeah.
auditioned for Saturday Night Live.
Flo from the Progressive commercials created that character at the Groundlings in Los Angeles,
Oh, I didn't even know
and
that.
is
I
now
love
a
it.
millionaire.
I picture her, this is my thing, I picture Flo like she has like a mansion on an island.
Man.
Guys feeding her grapes and like 20
It
cars.
must
and
be
like,
stupid what she gets paid for each
Yeah.
of those commercials. It's
She's
stupid money.
amazing. Love her.
Stupid money that goes.
I just hope she like lives like,
Yeah. I can't
like
wait
Elvis,
to sell out.
You know what I mean?
Like, please, I want to sell out and do stupid commercials. I want to. Please, God, help me do that. We're going to go in the back and we'll come back up to you in the front here, brother. In the yellow again.
This might not be exactly specified towards you guys as a question, but have you?
Should we go find some other people?
I'm trying to word this correctly.
I think we can answer it either way.
Are there any like characteristics that you might see in new voice actors that are automatically blacklisted, like a stutter, anything of that nature, like social disabilities or something like that? Is there anything that you could think of? And if so,
Here are three things that will not get you apart. You're not easy to work with. You don't take direction well. And you're not easy to work with. I'm serious. That's it. Can you take direction? And are you comfortable and easy to work with? And do you show up on time? Will you be there on time? Are you easy to work with? And do you take direction? Because that's it. Everything else can be dealt with. But if you can't do those three things, it's over. It's already over before you began. They can deal with stutters. They can deal with you know, I don't know what else. They can deal with a lot of stuff, but they can't deal with those three things. So if you think there's something out there that's stopping you because maybe you do have, I don't know, maybe you do have a stutter, maybe you do have some sort of disability in your eyes that you think is going to stop you from being a voice actor. Well,
It could be the thing that gets you the job.
yeah, those three things are the only three things I can guarantee you will continue to not get you work. Other than that, go for it. That's what I say. In the front here.
Two, one is actual important serious and one is more comedic.
Sure.
Do you know Hercule's first name? Is it real first name?
Yes, Mark.
Yeah, okay.
I
A
do.
lot of people didn't know that. So.
Mark Satan. Actually, in Japan, though, when you say the name Mark, you say it Marku. And you take the anagram of Marku is Akuma,
Which is the same.
which means demon. So his name is Demon Satan. and his daughter Devil. So.
Her name's Devil Satan in that case?
I would say yes, it would be Videl Satan. So it would be demon, and Devil Satan.
Another one is, yeah, I took this summer, this like month-long acting thing, so I know what you mean, how important the improv is. It's space work. I heard a bunch about space work.
Space work, yes.
So I really understand what you mean. They push that a ton. So,
Well, space work in the world of improv is, because the space work is because in improv you don't have props, you don't have tables, you do have chairs. You will have, but that's all you'll have. Chairs and you. And so being able to establish that, let's say this table isn't there and let's say this microphone isn't here, but I still got to be able to look like I'm taking a microphone, and then I got to be able to put it back in that same place that I got that microphone from. And this is my cup, but I picked up the cup and I'm drinking the cup, but I don't want my hand all of a sudden to collapse. I got to keep that hand there, right? That's space work. I'm still holding this cup. You still believe I'm holding this cup? I take a drink of the cup and I'm still going to set it back down where I got it from. You know, because if you start moving things around in your space that weren't there, you lose the audience. So, but you don't need to know that for voice acting. But
there was a whole day where they did it as they gave us nothing. Like, okay, you need to replicate your at home. Your home.
Right.
Yeah,
You know, go in, do some dishes, make some dinner,
That was the one they
cook
focused
something.
on. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
And you've got to be able to establish where those things are. And when you go back to them, they need to be in the same place. It's very important.
and have you, have you ever done a lot of moving the booth where you have actually hit something or anything?
Like in the booth?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure I've whacked the microphone a few times. That's no doubt. Bumped into something, or I'm sure I've had like watches or like bracelets or something like that. Like I used to have this chain bracelet, and my hand would fly off or something. That probably only happened like once or twice or something. So nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. What was that? Wasn't there a Morgan Freeman? I still want to do my Morgan Freeman. I'm trying to think because I always think when you think Morgan Freeman, you think Shawshank Redemption, right?
Yeah. Do a Dark Knight quote.
What is it? Give me a Dark Knight quote.
I remember it.
Yeah, see, I don't either. I do remember this. I do remember him saying this.
Technology,
Say what?
you will find all cell phones that were produced with this technology.
No, that's a terrible. That doesn't sound like Morgan Freeman. This sounds like Morgan Freeman when he said,
I'll do it.
I need water. When I first met Andy Dufresne, he was a tall, skinny white boy. That's all. It's all about the Andy Dufresne.
That was really good.
In the pink here.
So you talked about
Your shoes are really cool, by the way. I just want to say that.
Nice.
So you've talked about getting practice in a bunch of different areas, and pay-for-play kind of sites are becoming more popular. And I wanted to get your opinions on that and why it might be advantageous to like voice actors.
I tell you, that's a big thing. That's going to happen in LA a lot too. That pay-to-play sort of thing. And man, I've heard mixed reviews because I've got some buddies who pay-to-play worked for them, and they're regularly steady working actors. And I've got some that just didn't. But a lot of the times, I think it's more about should they have been there to begin with, kind of thing. And I think sometimes the successes are up to you, you know, and that pay to play, if it works for you, it works for you because you made it a success and you belonged there. You know, if it isn't a success, you might not have belonged there. That's my best guess. Yes, what else?
Do you feel like that it might create like a wage kind of problem for like voice actors? Like if they, with sites like this, where you can get a bunch of lines for like $5 or $10, you just like discourage that so that voice actors get paid fully for what their work versus people going to places like that to get cheap work done?
Well, I mean, I guess it takes all kinds. I mean, have you dealt with any of this stuff?
No.
No?
No.
I really don't deal with it a lot because I'm not trying to be on Pixar or, you know, Disney animations, or I mean, not yet. I mean, I'd love to, sign me up. But I'm not currently in that area. I mean, I'm not in LA to do those kinds of things. But I'm sorry, what was the last part of the question you were asking? Like,
oh, just like if you have any feelings about it creating like a kind of harmful.
I think that everything maybe has its place in that regard. I think for the most part, when you are doing the anime and the video games, or even the you know the regular national, you know, your Cartoon Network stuff, your Family Guys, and you know whatever your regular animated series are happening, you know, after school cartoons and those kinds of things. You still need people in the booth with a director and doing it there, you know. I'm sure it's a great way for a lot of people to kind of get their feet wet and get a start and see what they can do and see if people are interested in what they can do. In the end, I still think it's going to be, you're going to need a face and an actor and a director, and they're going to need to be all in the same place. For now, still. Yes, sir.
This again might not exactly go towards you guys.
You're killing me, dude.
Are there any like blacklisted items like you should have like you've done before that if someone were to read your
Are you just trying to not be a voice actor? It's like, I'm just going to do all the things.
A lot of shit, man. I was told a lot of shit about being voice actors and how it is so impossible to become one. But like, if
Well, it's not impossible.
If you have done something in particular,
Look at us.
you're automatically failing that.
No.
Like I said, I mean, I don't know if anyone's doing like any severe background checks on people. Maybe a couple of people should have been background checked. I mean, unless you really have experienced something or were in an act that caused devastation to Funimation, its company, and or otherwise any other company in that regard, then yeah, you're probably going to have some issues, but nothing jumps out at me like that. Because you're like this, or because you feel this way, or because you think this way, that's going to stop you from being an actor or a voice actor.
I mean, like something that you have done. Like, say, for instance, my friends were like, "Oh, fan dubbing is like so terrible because it's like." Fan dubbing.
So you're saying if I would say maybe in the past I did some fan dubs with some friends, is that going to hurt me later on down the road, kind of thing?
Like, kinda, yeah. I just wanted to get like a.
I don't know. I mean, look at the Abridged guys. You know, one of those guys lives right up the street from me. I didn't even know it until I met him a couple of years ago. You know, the Dragon Ball Z Abridged guys.
Yeah.
They're doing it. You know, and they're kind of trying to figure out their own thing, and now they're actually branching out and actually getting some work and auditions and in other venues as well. So I wouldn't say that it necessarily hurt you. It definitely helped those guys. And I'm sure there's other people out there like that who that's working for. I mean, look at the Screw Attack guys with all the death battle stuff and everything. I think they're very smart and clever. And you know, even though they didn't choose me to be me in the latest death battle, you know, I mean, they do a great job with that stuff, and they're not, you know, using the most highfalutin voice actors to come in and do those kinds of things, you know. So, yeah, there's all kinds of possibilities. I'd say do the fan dub stuff, get some experience, be in front of a microphone, do that, go crazy with it. In fact, right? Wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I go for it. Don't stop believing.
I'm gonna come back over here to you, sir. 1 second. We're going right here. Yes, sir.
Well, as you said, like getting into voice acting long process, with a lot of improv, workshops, small parts, theater. I currently, right now, I'm 29 years old. As you get older and your voice changes naturally, is there ever a point in your life where you're too old to get the ball rolling?
No.
Considering it's like, if you're thinking, looking at like maybe a 5-10 year plan to actually start making waves in the industry.
Well, I mean, I was 26, 27 when I got the part of Hercule. And I mean, I've been doing other things, commercials, live improv shows. I was doing live industrials for different companies because of the improv and things like that. So, as far as voice acting goes, I don't think there is a...
No, I don't think that for any kind of acting. That's why I love that this is the
Look like Danny Aiello.
Because I can't wait to be a Golden Girl, for one. But I've been wanting to be that crazy grandma since I was like 25. But someday, I'm working towards it. I'm getting really scared.
You want to be Estelle Getty?
Yeah, or Blanche, or Rose.
Well, that was the actress's name. I remember it was her. Rose, right?
Rose was...
That was Betty White. What was the grandma's name?
That was Estelle Getty.
Oh.
Yeah. What was I saying? Something really profound.
I'm so sorry.
No, but my point is, like, well, for me personally, like, the last couple of years, I didn't start voiceover until I was in my 30s, and the last couple, I won't say how old I am now, but the last couple of years have been the best on screen and stuff I've ever done, and I always knew that was going to happen, like, the good stuff was coming later somehow. Like, I am going to be that crazy grandma someday, but, but I mean, yeah, there's no time limit. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but you're only going to get better along the way as long as you keep doing stuff.
So it's just like any other job, you just build your resume over time with experience.
Yeah, and there is a certain amount of in the right place at the right time that happens. You know, I think not just in acting, but in lots of industries where, you know, you're looking for that next level up, you know.
And it always happens in the strangest ways, like me in a bar, you know, I was trying to get through it like the way you would think you do, and then you meet some dude at a bar,
Exactly.
and he turns out to be like this great dude, and you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't recommend that for dating, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the craziest thing, but it's kind of like what I keep saying, don't stop believing, but if you're just kind of doing that stuff all the time, it's going to eventually, it's going to make its way towards you, you know what I mean? So just...
Staying active
Yeah.
is the key. You know, being around those people, staying around them,
Yeah.
you know. Be in that community of people and things and keep active. And cross your fingers, you know, really.
Yeah. I feel like I had something else profound to say, but I lost it.
That was all my fault. I apologize.
I need a cracker.
You need a cracker? Anyone got a cracker? Polly want a cracker? Polly got a cracker. Yes, sir, back to you.
Have you ever damaged your voice? And if you did, how did you recover enough to be able to go back and continue working?
Oh man, I haven't done that, thankfully. I've only had a few awesome screams, but you,
Yeah.
however, I'm sure.
I've never damaged it per se, like, you know, end up with like nodes on my throat or anything like that, which I've had some friends who have, and that's, you know, you get these little pus pockets in your throat, and it's not good. It's gnarly. It is. It's pretty gnarly.
I felt like you maybe a little overdid it a little
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, most every time. No, with Torg especially, you just sort of, mine was more of a reactionary therapy, you know, it wasn't like something I did after, it's something I did while I was doing the voice so that I didn't feel crappy later, and that maybe I only was dealing with a little bit of a, you know, off voice, you know, the next day I was fine again. You know, maybe later that night I wasn't talking so well, but talking so good, better, that would be better, more poor grammar, I don't know. And so in that regard, but more of like preventative therapy than like after therapy. But you know, you got your honey teas and you got sprays, and I use blow pops a lot. That helps me coat the throat.
I
You
always
know,
have apples in the studio.
apples.
Apples are supposed to be good for keeping your mouth.
Really?
I guess because doing a lot of talking and then you can get like cotton mouth or something.
Well, the cotton they give me cotton mouth. I chew on an apple, man. My mouth gets dry.
I think
So.
it's green apples are supposed to like, I think because they're sour.
Oh,
they make
I
your
love
mouth
grainy
more-
smell. And then just why not get a sour apple Jolly Rancher?
Well, that sounds amazing.
I love those. That's what I would do. I will buy sour apple Jolly Rancher blow pops. You know, they're
Oh,
just,
seriously?
yes.
For reals?
I will use those. If I know I'm going in to do something heavy like that, I'll just, during the session, I'll just kind of keep it in my hand and suck on it and do a line and have some water. And I know this sounds weird. I'm sucking on it, drinking water. Anyway. So yeah, no, I've never really damaged it. And if anything, I try to do preventative. You know, I am a bit of a smoker, and so that's not a good thing for your voice. But definitely, if you are going in for a voiceover session, don't like have a bowl of cereal. That's bad. And if you are going to be drinking water, make sure it's room temperature. You don't need cold water. That's just going to tighten you up, restrict you a little bit. And nobody needs that.
And breathe.
Where we are? Are we out of time already? Is that why you put your jacket on?
No, I'm freezing.
Oh, you're chilly.
Let's see.
Women and their coldness. Am I right? Am I right? Okay.
We still got lots of time.
Do we really?
No, wait, no, we're done. It's
4:30.
Get out.
Well, yeah, I got one last question for you. This one young lady, she's been very patient. Okay, this better be good.
You said you sometimes get into the booth and you haven't seen the script or anything beforehand. Do either of you have a story where you got in there and you just had to stop recording because whatever you were voicing was so dang weird?
I've never had to like stop per se.
I've never had to stop, but I curse myself a lot.
In the booth?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You have a foul mouth in the booth?
Really foul, really, really foul.
Does she have a foul mouth at home? Does she cuss up a storm at the house?
She'll like,
Oh God, why would you do
I don't know, she'll like curse and then she'll be like, I'm sorry. And like, I'll curse and she'll be like, whatever.
Right. That's nice. See, I curse around my daughter too fairly regularly. That's just kind of who I am. It's just part of my vernacular, as it were.
Yeah.
But I can't get my daughter to say a bad word for the life of me.
Oh, she'll start, don't worry.
Okay, good. Crossing my fingers now. Just good.
Yeah, there are some like, I don't know, if you get like a, I don't know, soliloquy, you know, a long thing, right when you get in there, sometimes you kind of have to warm up a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, many a time I have started the voiceover session with the director explaining the show to me and going, "What the hell did you just say to me? They do what with their blood? And they use it like weapons? And then who am I? I'm a what?" You know, that's what's strange to me. I mean, the Japanese never. I mean, they never cease to surprise me. Because I'll walk in and be like, I thought last week was the most ridiculous plot I had ever heard in my life. This one beats that one. You know, shows that are super fun, like Ninja Slayer. Anybody been watching that? Ninja Slayer? God, it's ridiculous and fun. And, you know, shows like A Panty and Stocking and, you know, those kind of, just, you know, crazy, wacky. You're like, what? I get to say what? You're paying me to say what now?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So, those kinds of things. Guys, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Great questions. Thanks, guys.
It's a lot of fun, and we got other stuff going on here. We're here till tomorrow, so come by, stop by, say
I have a
hello.
solo panel tomorrow, and I'm really scared. So come freak me out.
I'm gonna come crash your solo
I'll
panel.
talk about really fun stuff. I'll say "Don't Stop Believing" at least 3 times.
Don't stop believing.
Sorry, man.
Hold on to the feeling.
Should be stuck in your head.
Street lights, people.
You should just come sing that in the background.
Sorry, I can't quite. I don't think I can quite see the carry it there where I want it.
Well, no one really can.
No. Well, except for that Asian guy, they have singing their songs.
No, I saw him.